confident that should Nnamdi Kanu be released.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are all over the world. Welcome back to my channel. It is still your one and only 24/7 news boss. We are here to bring you another fresh update concerning the IPOB. And if you are joining us for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video, and also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our breaking stories. In today's update, we will be diving into two major stories shaking the southeast and indeed the entire nation. First, the dramatic capture of Gen to the Yahoo, the feared commander of the Biafran Liberation Army, and the camp that has since returned to the region. Second, the growing nationwide protest movement tagged #MNK#October20 #Free Nnamdi led by activist Omoyele Sowore, who is facing accusations of political motives even as he mobilizes citizens for justice. Stay tuned as we break down every detail, the facts, the reactions, and what this means for the Zoo Nation's fragile unity. In one of our previous updates here on 24/7 News Boss, we reported that a top commander of the Biafran Liberation Army known as Gen to the Yahoo had allegedly been captured by the Zoo Nation military forces. At that time, many of our viewers reacted with skepticism. Some believed it was a government propaganda story, while others said Gento was still in control of his men and that the report was false. Well, in this update, we can now confirm that the Zoo Nation military has released an official video clip showing the aftermath of a fierce gun battle that led to his capture. The footage released by military authorities shows soldiers parading what appeared to be captured fighters and recovered weapons from a forest camp believed to be one of the Biafran Liberation Army's operational bases. According to military sources, the operation was carried out after weeks of surveillance in the dense forests of Olu, Imo State, and parts of Anambra border communities. At dawn, troops reportedly invaded the camp, engaging in a heavy exchange of gunfire that lasted for over an hour. By the end of the operation, several fighters were captured, others escaped, and among those taken alive was a man identified as Gen to the Yahoo, one of the most wanted separatist commanders. Let's sit back and watch the short video.
Throughout the week under review. Between 8th to 13th October, they conducted offensive operations and arrested a suspected IPOB PSN terrorist commander identified as Gentle, who was on troops wanted list along 8 other criminals in Sowore West and Maitoli local government areas of Imo State, as well as Inzi and Abochukwu local government area of Imo State. Some weapons, ammunition, and vehicles were also recovered from them. Additionally, a female IPOB PSN collaborator, who also was believed to be one of their logistics suppliers, was arrested in Umunochi, local government area of Abia State, on 13th October 2025. During the arrest, 3 children, whose investigation revealed were biological children to a wanted IPOB PSN leader identified as Madwabuchi Wampo, otherwise known as Emergency, were found in her custody. It was further revealed that the terrorist leader is also a relation.
Since the news broke and the video surfaced online, there has been a mixed wave of emotions across the southeast region. On one side, many residents have expressed relief that peace seems to be returning to areas that have been under fear and tension for months. Roads that were once unsafe are slowly reopening. People are beginning to travel more freely, and some local markets that were abandoned due to insecurity are gradually returning to life. However, on the other side, some sympathizers of the Biafran liberation movement view this development with sadness. They describe Gentle the Yahoo as a freedom fighter rather than a criminal, and believe his capture could provoke more resentment if the zoo government doesn't handle the situation carefully. Analysts too are divided. Some commend the military for restoring calm and demonstrating authority in the region long troubled by violence. Others caution that military strength alone cannot solve the underlying causes of the agitation, such as political marginalization, economic neglect, and unresolved grievances tied to the Biafran question. Now, let's move to another major development. The growing October 20th protest movement calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. This movement, tagged #MNK-October20-Free Nnamdi Kanu, is spearheaded by activist and political figure Omoyele Sowore. As preparations heat up for the October 20th protest, Sowore has found himself at the center of controversy. He has been accused by some political observers of using Nnamdi Kanu's detention and the emotions of the people for personal political gain and future ambitions. In response, Sowore addressed a large crowd of supporters in Abuja earlier this week, where he dismissed the allegations as a strategy by distractors to disorganize the protest. He stated clearly, "If it was about politics, I would use money to buy votes. This is not politics, this is about justice." Sowore went further to say that the case of Nnamdi Kanu is not one man's problem, but a national justice issue. He urged the Zoo Nation citizens from all ethnic groups to stand together and demand fairness from the government and the judiciary. He also called on Igbo political leaders and chieftains to rise above fear and join the protest, saying that if this injustice is not stopped now, tomorrow someone else may find themselves in the same situation.
And some of you must have been told, there's a lot of stories they are funding bloggers that I'm doing this for politics. I am not looking for votes. I have said it to people, if I'm looking for votes, I will go and look for money and give to INEC. They will give me election votes, I will win out. The person will be president now, come campaign to you. Be president. Some will say...
As expected, Sowore's involvement has generated sharp debate among analysts and commentators across the Zoo Nation. Some analysts support the protest, describing Sowore as one of the few courageous voices who consistently stands up against oppression. They argue that his track record in human rights activism and his past experiences, including multiple arrests and detentions, show that he genuinely believes in justice and democracy. But on the other hand, some political analysts remain deeply suspicious. They insist that Sowore is a politician first and an activist second, someone who understands how to use emotional national issues to build popularity. They warn that such movements can be easily hijacked or used as platforms to negotiate political advantages. Despite the divided opinions, what is clear is that the upcoming October 20th protest has already shaken the political space. Security agencies are reportedly on alert, and there are ongoing talks among civil society groups to ensure the protest remains peaceful and non-violent. Across cities like Enugu, Awka, Owerri, Aba, and Nnewi, the talk of the town remains the #MNK-October20-Free Nnamdi Kanu protest. While many youths say they are ready to march peacefully for justice, elders and traders express mixed feelings. Some fear that the protest could turn into violent or lead to another government crackdown. Others believe that the world must hear their voice and that silence is no longer an option. In the words of one young man interviewed in Aba, if we don't stand up for Nnamdi Kanu today, it means any voice that speaks tomorrow can be silenced too. Meanwhile, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, former governor of Abia State, has once again distanced himself from the agitation for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Speaking in a recent interview, Kalu maintained that he respects the decision of the court and believes that every citizen must learn to respect the rule of law. He stressed that the judiciary has a final say and that politicians should not interfere in ongoing court matters. However, his comments have not gone down well, with many residents of the Southeast who accuse him of betraying his people and playing safe for political convenience. Analysts also weighed in. Some described Kalu's statement as diplomatic and an attempt to maintain his position with national politics, but others criticized him, saying his silence and neutrality at a time like this only weaken the Southeast collective voice. Let's sit back and watch the short video.
Confident that should Nnamdi Kanu be released, security in the Southeast will be positively affected.
Well, let me say this, Nnamdi Kanu is before a court of competent jurisdiction, and it would be very, very unfair for me to be talking about the release of Nnamdi Kanu, which is before Justice Omotocha, discussing anything about that honorable court. And I urge Nigerians to learn how to respect the courts, and I want to leave that about respecting the courts for now.
In conclusion, the capture of Gento the Yahoo may have brought temporary calm to parts of the Southeast, but the root issues of injustice, distrust, and political alienation remain. As the October 20th protest approaches, all eyes are now on both the Zoo government and the citizens, whether this movement will open the door for dialogue or deepen the existing division. And that is it on today's in-depth report from 24/7 News Buzz. We have examined the truth behind Gento the Yahoo's capture, the calm now settling in Southeast, and the fiery campaign by Sowore and others calling for Nnamdi Kanu's release. But my people, the big question now are, do you believe Gento the Yahoo's capture will bring lasting peace to the Southeast? Is Sowore genuinely fighting for justice, or do you think there is a political motive behind the #MNK#October 20 Free Nnamdi Kanu movement? And lastly, should leaders like Orji Uzor Kalu remain neutral, or should they take a stronger stand for their people? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. We would love to hear your voice. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to 24/7 News Buzz for more real stories, raw updates, and fearless journalism. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed.